Uh, Emily. Today, I visited a hot spring inn for a company retreat. Leaving the lively party with my colleagues, I was walking towards the hot spring, humming to myself, when I saw someone collapsed in front of the changing room. Rushing over, I found it was my supervisor, Emily, the chief. Emily. Are you okay? I called out, but she barely responded. Her body, which I instinctively lifted, and her face were quite red. It seemed she had fainted from the heat. I was startled by the sound escaping her lips. In my rush to help her, I hadn't noticed that her yukata had come loose, revealing a bit too much of her chest and thighs. Just then, I heard several male voices coming from the men's bath. I couldn't leave her in such a state here. Thinking that, I carried her to my nearby room. Did you see me? You're the worst. When she woke up, she misunderstood and berated me harshly, but this incident led me to discover Emily's true nature. My name is John. I work in sales for a company primarily dealing with food wholesale. I've always loved talking to and observing people, and my sociable nature has been a great asset in my sales job, keeping me at the top of the charts for the past year. Selling products is my job, but I enjoy the environment where I can visit various companies and stores and talk to different people. Even after 3 years, I still find it as enjoyable as when I was a rookie. Though busy and sometimes facing setbacks, I have a reliable boss and supportive colleagues, making my work very fulfilling. I might be an unusual type, but I look forward to going to work every day. Of course, the work itself is enjoyable, but there's another big reason. That reason is my supervisor, Emily. She exudes a cool, capable aura, and despite being in her 20s, she has already risen to a chief position thanks to her impressive work achievements. She is strict with both herself and others and has a stern attitude towards work, which makes some colleagues uneasy around her. Her perfectionism earns both admiration and criticism, and she never breaks her cool facade at work. However, when I was new, I saw Emily's attitude towards work and her sincere dealings with clients, and I felt a strong admiration, thinking, I want to be like Emily. Since then, I've always been watching her. She probably hasn't noticed. While observing her every day, I've also noticed some unexpected sides of her. She has a cute bear charm on a pen in her desk's pen holder, and one of the sticky notes on her computer says today's menu as a shopping list. These adorable aspects of her make me smile to myself. Of course, I can't let Emily see me like this. Initially, it was pure admiration, but over time, it has gradually changed. And now I am keenly aware of her as a woman. She probably hasn't noticed my feelings. And I'm sure she wouldn't be interested in someone with a baby face and a constantly smiling expression like mine. But that's okay. Even if our relationship is just that of a supervisor and subordinate in a company, being with her is enough for me. Lately, however, there's been a troubling development. 6 months ago, Aaron, the only son of President Johnson, was transferred to our sales department and took up the position of section manager. Since then, the once pleasant work environment has drastically changed. On the one hand, he forced younger employees to attend drinking parties and go on cabaret tours, and on the other, if he found someone he didn't like, especially those who criticized him, he would boldly declare, I'll demote anyone who can't do their job. He also showed many outrageous behaviors, such as finding female employees he liked and saying, I'll make her my secretary, to keep them close to him. His father, President Johnson, was a masterful businessman who had significantly grown the company and was known for his friendly demeanor. However, when it came to his own son, he seemed to be lenient, failing to reprimand him strongly. Taking advantage of his father's leniency, Aaron's behavior escalated, making everyone in the department constantly fearful of his mood. I, like everyone else, had my grievances with Aaron but couldn't voice them and had to keep my head down and work in silence. Emily, being directly under Aaron's supervision, was frequently called upon and given tasks. At first, it wasn't too bad, but over time, Emily's expressions grew darker after each encounter with Aaron, and I grew increasingly worried. Knowing Aaron, he might have been verbally abusing Emily with baseless accusations. Though I wanted to do something, my cowardice kept me from acting, and time just passed by. One day, I saw a familiar figure in the hallway. It was Emily. She seemed to have just returned from outside, and as I was about to greet her, she suddenly looked like she was about to collapse. Watch out! I rushed over and caught her. Though Emily was always slender, her body felt alarmingly light when I held her. "Emily, are you okay?" When I asked, she looked up at me with a pale face. Her complexion was so bad that I became even more worried and was about to ask more, but as soon as she saw my face, she screamed, "Don't touch me!" and pushed me away with surprising strength, causing me to stumble backward. Emily's expression changed to one of shock when she saw me standing there in a daze. She quickly said, "I'm sorry," and ran away from the scene. Watching her retreating figure, I recalled what had just happened. Sure, it was inappropriate to touch a woman's body so abruptly, even in an emergency. But her reaction seemed to stem from more than just that. Even though it was unexpected, it was a strong enough force to make a man like me stagger. A scream and expression mixed with fear. Even I could see it was a strong rejection. I felt deeply hurt, thinking, Emily must hate me now, and stared at the empty hallway, feeling devastated. From then on, I made sure not to approach Emily carelessly. I didn't want to scare her again, and if she rejected me again, I feared I wouldn't be able to recover. As time passed, under the shadow of Aaron's tyranny and my growing despondency, one by one, people started quitting, leaving behind only yes-men around Aaron. By that time, there was no one left in the department who would confront Aaron directly, and everyone was saying, "I just want to quit." Emily's expressions grew darker each day. Around that time, I noticed her desk had become unusually tidy. Her cute pens and sticky notes were gone, and I thought she might be considering quitting as well. Seeing her reminded me of all those who had left, and I felt a deep sadness as I looked around the increasingly empty department. A month later, President Johnson himself organized a company retreat to boost morale. Following Aaron's suggestion, it turned into a hot spring trip with the absurd rule that all unmarried female employees had to attend. Officially, it was to be considerate of married employees' family responsibilities. But everyone knew it was just an excuse for Aaron's ulterior motives. In our department, there were only 2 unmarried women, Emily and another woman named Catherine, who was currently on family leave. So it was effectively only Emily who was required to attend. I couldn't forget Aaron's leering face and Emily's dark expression when the trip was announced. During the trip, everyone had to cater to Aaron's whims, making us question the purpose of the retreat. After a day of exhausting sightseeing, we moved on to the evening banquet. While Aaron and his cronies were getting rowdy, a few of us who disapproved of him hatched a plan. Our goal was to get Aaron drunk and ensure some peaceful time until morning. We exchanged glances and took our positions. As the banquet began, the already cheerful Aaron started bothering Emily. Emily calmly deflected his advances, but he persisted. I decided to intervene by offering him a drink. "Aaron, this is a local specialty sake. Here, have some." Plastering my sales smile on my face, I poured the locally famous sake into Aaron's cup, which the hostess had said was once presented to the local lord. The fragrant aroma caught Aaron's attention, and he took a sip. "This is good. For once, you brought something decent." "Thank you." I smiled politely while refilling Aaron's cup with sake. Then another colleague chimed in, "This is a great appetizer to go with the sake." We continued to offer Aaron drinks, and as he got drunker, he started boasting, "I'm the next president," and getting rowdier with his sycophants. We had been forced to drink with Aaron for the past 6 months and knew he couldn't handle alcohol well and would soon fall asleep. Just as planned, after a while, Aaron started snoring loudly on the tatami mat in the banquet hall. My colleagues and I quietly smirked, thinking, we did it. Even his sycophants looked relieved. It seemed that even the yes-men Aaron had gathered didn't like him. Watching his blissfully unaware sleeping face, I felt a twinge of pity, but given his usual behavior, he didn't deserve any sympathy. We decided to leave him be and enjoy the banquet. I was having a great time with my colleagues for the first time in a while, but when I looked around, I noticed Emily was missing. Maybe she's resting in her room, now that she's free from Aaron. I was hoping that Emily could find some peace of mind during this trip, even if only for a little while. Her expression had been so downcast when this company retreat was announced. Remembering that moment, I felt my heart grow heavy like lead. To change my mood, I told my drinking colleagues, "I'm going to the bath," and left the banquet. Thanks to the troublesome presents being passed out drunk, everyone was enjoying themselves and didn't even notice when I left. They continued to drink merrily. The hostess had mentioned upon our arrival that this inn has an open-air bath called a hidden hot spring. Since I'm not a heavy drinker and had barely touched any alcohol at the party, I decided to fully enjoy the hot spring. With a light step, I headed towards the changing room. It was at that moment I saw someone collapsed in front of the dressing room. "Are you okay?" I hurried over and lifted the person up. It was only then that I realized the person was Emily. She looked different without her glasses and in her yukata, which is why I didn't recognize her immediately. Her skin and face were flushed, and she felt hot to the touch. "Emily." She responded faintly, which reassured me. She must have gotten overheated. Emily, leaning weakly against me, looked so vulnerable that inappropriate thoughts crept into my mind. I shook my head to clear those thoughts. "Get a grip, idiot. What are you thinking about a woman who's unwell?" Emily shifted and nestled her face into my chest. The sweet scent of her hair made my heart race, and I started feeling dizzy. At that moment, I heard voices from the men's bath, likely from a group of male guests. "A cold sake after a bath is the best." "Yeah. But you're always drinking, aren't you, Jack?" That voice snapped me back to reality, and I panicked when I saw Emily's appearance. Whether it was from falling over or putting it on absent-mindedly, her yukata had come loose, revealing her chest and thighs to a dangerously precarious level. Not wanting anyone else to see her like this, I apologized. "I'm sorry, Emily," and carefully adjusted her yukata, avoiding any improper contact. I picked up her glasses from the floor and carried her on my back to my room. I laid her on the futon and placed a cool towel on her face and legs, using a cold water bottle from the fridge to help her recover. After about 30 minutes, the redness in Emily's face subsided, and her expression softened. Relieved, I watched as Emily slowly opened her eyes. Still groggy, she blinked at the ceiling. "Emily, how are you feeling?" I asked cautiously, and she looked at me. She stared at my face for a few seconds before her expression turned to one of shock. "Ah," she screamed. "Wait, Emily, calm down." I called out to her, but Emily, in a panic, bombarded me with questions. I was supposed to be in the bath. Why am I in this room? Did you bring me here? Did you see me naked? No. I didn't see. You did see, didn't you? You're the worst. I misjudged you, John. Even though I had said words of denial, I was somehow misunderstood. Even if it was a misunderstanding, being called the worst by the person I care about was emotionally tough. Desperate to clear up the misunderstanding, I tried to explain, but Emily ignored me and picked up a pillow, ready to throw it. "No, it's not like that. Please listen to me." I inadvertently raised my voice, wanting her to listen. Emily, startled, stopped. Seizing the opportunity, I hurriedly explained and justified myself. "Please, just let me say this. I didn't do anything inappropriate to you. Your yukata was disheveled, so I fixed it. But I was very careful not to touch your skin. If that still made you uncomfortable, I'm sorry. I apologize." After apologizing, I explained everything that had happened since I found her outside the changing room. As Emily listened to my explanation, she looked at the nearby water bottles and wet towels, then lowered her head. "You helped me, John," and I jumped to conclusions and panicked. "I'm sorry. No, it's my fault for not thinking it through. It's only natural that you'd think the worst, given the situation. I should have been more considerate." I bowed my head as well. "No, it's my fault. It's embarrassing to get heatstroke at my age." Emily said this with an embarrassed smile. Perhaps it was because of her yukata and the absence of her glasses, but her atmosphere and smile were different from what I was used to at work. And it made my heart skip a beat. "So, Emily, are you feeling better now?" "Yes, thanks to you, John." "Thank you. I'm glad. When I saw you collapsed, I thought my heart would stop. You were that worried about me." Well, right, you need to stay hydrated. I'll get you something to drink." Feeling that my emotions were slipping into my words due to the nervousness and excitement of being alone with Emily, I decided to step away under the pretext of getting a drink to calm myself. When I returned with a bottle of water and handed it to Emily, she smiled and said, "Thank you." As I admired her smile, I noticed her cheeks were still slightly red. "Emily?" Are you still feeling hot? Why? Well, your ears and cheeks are still a bit red. I'll open the window a bit. Oh, that's. Her words were drowned out by the sound of the window opening, letting in a cool breeze. Let me know if it gets too cold. It's not good to chill your body too much. Thank you. I spoke to her and then sat at a respectful distance. Emily gazed at me intently. Emily? Is something wrong? No, nothing. John, really, thank you. Her repeated gratitude made me realize how considerate she was. We made small talk, but eventually, the conversation died down. And silence filled the room. Unable to think of anything to say and noticing Emily still looked a bit unwell, I saw her staring at the bottle in her hand. Just as I wondered what to do, there was a knock on the door, followed by a cheerful voice. Hey, John. Are you back from the bath? The banquet's over, but we're not done drinking. Come join us in my room. It seemed my colleagues had come to get me. It was a welcome distraction from the awkwardness. I'm going to join them. Please, take your time and go back to your room whenever you feel up to it. You don't need to move anything, just take it easy. Wait. Watch out. As Emily tried to stand and stop me, she felt dizzy and started to fall forward. I caught her just in time. Emily, who had collapsed into my chest, raised her head and our eyes met. The unexpected closeness made my heart race, but seeing her eyes glisten with tears made me hold my breath. Please, don't leave. She whispered weakly, looking down. Seeing her shoulders tremble slightly, I couldn't help but tighten my grip around her. John? I heard a noise, are you okay? A concerned voice called from the other side of the door. I'm fine. Just tripped and almost fell. I think I'm more tired than I thought, so I'm going to rest now. While supporting Emily, I responded to my colleagues, declining their invitation. All right, take it easy. We did have a long day. Rest up. See you tomorrow. I heard the sound of footsteps as they walked away. Once the footsteps were completely out of earshot, I called out to Emily. Are you okay? Let's sit down for now. Watch your step. Supporting her unsteady frame, I gently guided her to a soft cushion. Her face looked a bit pale. I'm sorry for holding you back, John. Seeing her so different from her usual cool demeanor, I hesitated before speaking. Did something happen? Does it have to do with why you've looked so down recently? Emily's head snapped up at my words. Her expression shifted from one of surprise to one that looked like she was about to cry. John, you noticed. I've been followed by someone. What? You mean? I think I'm being stalked. Stalked? Emily began to speak slowly. About half a year ago, I started feeling like someone was following me. And things like stationery from my desk would go missing. They were gifts from my sister that I cherished, but I couldn't find them anywhere. For half a year. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but the feeling kept growing. But I couldn't talk to anyone about it. I was stunned by Emily's words. I had never known anyone personally affected by stalking, but I'd seen it on the news and TV shows. People being followed at night, their homes being broken into, sometimes even losing their lives. Hearing about it from someone close made my heart ache, thinking of her enduring such fear alone for so long. Have you talked to the police? I don't have any solid evidence, so I haven't gone yet. I might just be imagining things. I'm sorry. I didn't notice anything. John. You've always been there for me since I was a newbie, but I didn't realize you were suffering. I clenched my fists in frustration. The frustration of not noticing the changes despite being so close, and the anger towards the person tormenting Emily, mixed and surged through me. It's not your fault, John. And working hard with you and everyone helped me forget the bad things. She said, smiling. Her kindness, even while she was suffering the most, made my chest tighten with sorrow instead of the usual joy. I've always loved hot springs. So I was a bit excited about this trip. I thought I could forget about the stalker for a while. She laughed softly, perhaps at a memory. When I go to hot springs with my family, I have to take care of my little sister, so I never get to relax. You have a sister? Yes. I haven't mentioned it before, have I? I also have brothers, but there's quite an age gap. They're quite a handful for the whole family. Adorable, though. Her smile was warm and kind, reflecting her love for her family. That's why I ended up taking a long bath. It's funny that I stayed in until I almost passed out. But I'm sorry for causing you trouble, John. Not at all. It wasn't any trouble. I'm actually happy that she got a bit overheated, because it means I get to see her smile and talk with her like this. Of course, I'm worried about the stalking, but knowing why Emily's been so down recently makes me feel relieved. John, thank you so much for today. Anne, I'm sorry for the way I reacted before. You were just trying to help. But I overreacted because I was so scared. Her words reminded me of a few months ago. I had thought she hated me, which made me feel down, but given her situation, it made sense that she would be afraid of being touched by a man. Now, I understood why she had reacted so strongly. No, it's okay. I'm just glad you weren't hurt, both then and now. I smiled, hoping to reassure her. Emily looked at me and softly said, You're not like the stalker, John. You're so kind. Her eyes wavered slightly. Seeing that, I had the urge to hold her close. But I suppressed it. I must not scare Emily any further, as she already harbors a fear of men. As I tried to calm myself, I glanced at the clock on the wall. It was past 10 p.m. I'm sorry. It's already quite late. You should get some rest. I'll walk you back to your room. Saying that, I tried to stand up. But Emily didn't move. Emily. I know it's a strange request, but can I stay here tonight? What? Her unexpected request left me frozen halfway through standing up. Looking up at me, she asked again. Is it okay? Her innocent expression made my heart race. No, it's not bad, but... Inside, part of me was jumping for joy at the idea of spending more time with her, while another part warned that it might not be appropriate. With my heart pounding, the part that wanted to be with Emily won, and I awkwardly prepared another futon at a respectable distance. Normally, this would be easy, but my mind and heart were in overdrive, making the task seem complicated. If you want more space between us, just let me know. And I swear I won't do anything weird. You can even tie my hands and feet if you want. I couldn't even look at her as I said this, but I heard a soft laugh. Looking up, I saw Emily laughing. I'm sorry. You looked so funny, John. But it's okay. I trust you. Thank you. Her words made me push down any inappropriate thoughts. After making sure she was settled in her futon, I turned off the lights. Good night. Good night, John. Hearing Emily's breathing in the darkness made my heart race, and I tightly closed my eyes, trying to dispel any impure thoughts. Don't think about anything. Just sleep, as quickly as possible. Trying not to think about it only made my senses more acute. Just as I considered counting sheep to fall asleep, I felt the futon move slightly. Someone was there, and a trembling hand touched my back. After a moment's hesitation, I slowly turned to see Emily's anxious face in the dim light. Is it okay if I touch you a little? I asked for confirmation, just to be sure. Emily nodded. Seeing that, I gently put my arm around her back. Then, just before touching her, I gently patted her back, saying, "Excuse me." When I was little, whenever I had a scary dream and couldn't sleep, I would sneak into my grandma's bed, and she would pat my back like this. Your grandma. So you had such a cute childhood, too, right? Well, yeah. Thank you. I feel somehow at ease when I'm with you. Emily's words made my heart skip a beat. Isn't this a nice atmosphere? And Emily's words, they felt like, is that so? I feel the same way. It reminds me of my childhood. Max, my dog at home, he would sneak into my bed. We often slept together. Max. Emily giggled as she said this. Like the family dog? I couldn't help but feel I might not be entirely out of the romantic running, but for now. I told myself that helping Emily feel at ease was what mattered most. As I continued to gently pat her back, I heard Emily's peaceful breathing as she fell asleep. Good night, Emily. Of course, there was no reply. Even after confirming she had fallen into a deep sleep, I kept gently patting her back. The next morning, I knew it was morning by the sunlight streaming in and the birds chirping outside. Opening my eyes from the same position as last night, I saw Emily's beautiful sleeping face right in front of me. Honestly, I wasn't composed enough to sleep well with her so close. I was too excited to sleep at all. Despite being sleep deprived, looking at Emily's serene sleeping face, I strongly felt, I want to protect this person. I only have average strength and stamina, but I wanted to do whatever I could for her. As I was thinking this and looking at Emily's sleeping face, her eyes opened. Looking into her unfocused eyes, I greeted her. "Good morning, Emily." Good morning." Still groggy, she echoed my greeting like a parrot, but in the next moment, her eyes popped wide open. Then she sprang up with great force. "John. That is. I'm so sorry about last night." "It's alright, really. More importantly, did you sleep well?" Emily's face turned bright red to her ears. "Yes. I slept very well." Her flustered response and the sight of her putting on her glasses while speaking formally to me, her junior, was so cute that I couldn't help but smile. I then conveyed to her what I had decided in my heart. "Emily, please don't carry everything by yourself anymore. I'll do whatever I can to help, so please rely on me." Emily looked up at my words. I could see tears welling up in her eyes. "Thank you, John." Emily said this, wiping her tears and showing a smile. "Should I walk you to your room? I'm still worried about you after yesterday. I feel bad asking you to go that far, and I had a good rest, so I'll be fine." With that, Emily stood up smoothly. I also stood up. "I'm glad I could talk to you, John. I feel bad relying on my junior, but I hope I can consult with you again." "Thank you so much. See you later." With a smile and a wave, Emily left the room. As I listened to the sound of the door closing, I stood there for a while, recalling the dreamlike time of last night. Still in a dreamy state, the birds chirping outside brought me back to reality, and just as I was about to get ready for a walk outside, it happened. I thought I heard a voice from a bit of a distance. The moment I heard that voice, I had a bad feeling and dashed out of the room, running at full speed towards the source of the voice. "Stop it." Around the corner of the hallway, I saw two figures arguing. "Come on, just a little. Let go of me." My bad feeling turned out to be right. There stood Emily and Aaron. Aaron was grabbing Emily's arm as she struggled. Though her tone was strong, Emily's face was pale. "Let go of Emily," I shouted as I pried Aaron's hand off Emily's arm. Perhaps shocked by my sudden appearance, Aaron's hand easily released Emily. "John." A weak voice escaped from Emily, whom I was shielding behind me. Hearing that voice, anger surged through my body. "John? What are you doing here? Aaron, what are you doing? Forcing yourself on a woman who's clearly saying no is the lowest of the low." I've been angry with Aaron's behavior before, but never have I wanted to punch him in the face as much as I did now. "John? Are you trying to play the knight in shining armor? Don't make me laugh. I'm the son of President Johnson, you know?" From behind me, Emily's voice reached my ears as I faced off against the sneering Aaron. "The stalker, it was him," she said, extending her hand towards me. In her trembling hand was a pen with a bear charm that had been on Emily's desk. I looked from the pen to Aaron's face. Aaron was smirking. He stole my personal items from my desk and followed me home, all of it. It was Aaron. Hearing that, I felt my head was about to boil over. So this guy was the one tormenting Emily. I glared sharply at Aaron, condemning him. Being the president's son doesn't give you the right to commit crimes. Do you have any idea how much suffering Emily has been through because of you? But Aaron remained arrogantly unrepentant. What's wrong with managing Emily's belongings and actions? Besides, I arranged this trip, asking my father to make it happen so that shy Emily could come out of her shell. He proudly blabbered about his stalking behavior as if it were for Emily's benefit. That's all your delusion. In reality, Emily is terrified of your actions. Stop stalking her immediately. What? Stalking? What are you talking about? Everything I've done has been a proof of my love for Emily. right, Emily? You'll accept my feelings, won't you? With a self-absorbed expression, Aaron spoke to Emily. In response, Emily stepped forward to stand beside me. Seeing her determined look despite her trembling hands, I was surprised, but she nodded at me resolutely. I have never had any special feelings for you, Aaron. Your actions have been nothing but a nuisance. Please never do them again. If you do anything more, I will report it to the proper authorities. Facing the culprit, Emily's poised and firm stance was just like her usual self. Aaron's face turned red as he finally realized his misunderstanding. Don't mess with me. You too, making a fool out of me. Do you know what happens if you go against the president's son? I'll get you both fired. I'd heard this line countless times before. Whenever something didn't go his way, he would threaten with demotion or firing. I was fed up with it. That's fine by me. John. What are you saying? Emily, it's enough. If we continue working under someone like him, we'll end up hating the job we used to love so much. It's because of you that I came to love this job. John. Emily looked surprised at my words, and I smiled at her. Emily looked like she wanted to say something, but Aaron interrupted with a triumphant look on his face. You said it. There's no taking it back now. You'll regret it later. I won't regret it. In fact, it's a relief to not have to see your face anymore. Well, fine. You can act tough all you want. Our company won't feel a thing losing someone like you. Satisfied with getting my resignation, Aaron, seeming to have forgotten about pestering Emily, laughed loudly and walked away. Watching Aaron's arrogant retreat, I let out a deep breath. John, were you serious just now? Emily asked in a trembling voice. When I looked at her, the determined expression she had earlier was gone, replaced by a sad and anxious look in her eyes. It's not too late. I can go and ask Aaron to cancel your resignation. Emily. It's okay. I touched her shoulder to stop her from running off. When our eyes met, a single tear fell from her eye. I can't bear the thought of you quitting because of me. Emily started to cry. For a moment, I hesitated, but then I gently pulled her into an embrace. It's not your fault, Emily. It's my decision. I couldn't forgive Aaron's behavior. With Emily crying into my chest, I confessed the feelings I had been holding back. I've always liked you, Emily. That's why I couldn't stand seeing you in pain. I would have regretted it more if I had let Aaron's despicable actions slide. I'm glad I could protect you like this. Emily slowly lifted her face. Her wet eyes met mine. John. Until now, I've always seen you as a cute junior. But after spending the night together and hearing you say I could rely on you, I realized my own feelings. I feel comfortable with you. I don't have to put on a facade in front of you. I feel so at ease. Emily rested her cheek against my chest. I love you too, John. Her words resonated through my body and heart. Hearing the word love from Emily made my heart beat loudly. I can hear your heartbeat, John. Emily. With you by my side, I can do my best. So, please stay with me from now on, okay? Emily's blushing face showed a girlish smile. It was the most beautiful smile I had ever seen on her. The day after we returned from the trip, I headed to Aaron's desk with my resignation letter. When Aaron saw me, he smirked. John. What do you want? As I said yesterday, I'm quitting this company. When I placed the envelope on his desk, Aaron laughed loudly again. A resignation letter? Just remember, don't come crying to me when you're struggling. Who's going to be crying? What? What are you talking about? Obviously, it'll be you. He glared at me, annoyed by my calm demeanor. Aaron. I'm quitting too. And so am I. In the next moment, voices started to rise from behind me. While Aaron was still confused, envelopes marked with resignation letters were placed one after another on his desk. Finally, a beautifully written resignation letter was placed in front of him. I'm resigning as well. It was Emily who placed it. Behind us stood more than half of our department. Everyone here had submitted their resignation letters just like me. Aaron, stunned by the sudden turn of events, turned pale as he faced the overwhelming number of resignation letters. You seemed worried about my future, Aaron, but rest assured. We decided to leave this company and start a new one. Together. Everyone nodded in agreement. Next to me, Emily smiled. After declaring my resignation to Aaron yesterday, Emily and I discussed leaving the company and starting a new one together. I knew that just my resignation wouldn't stop Aaron's stalking, so for her safety, I urged Emily to resign as well. At first, Emily was reluctant to quit. I had heard she had a younger sister, but it turned out she was the eldest of 5 siblings, and along with her father, she was supporting the household due to her mother's poor health. That's why, no matter how hard it was, I couldn't quit my job. Hearing her circumstances, I felt a painful tightness in my chest. Thinking of how she had been fighting the fear of Aaron stalking while suppressing her own feelings for the sake of her family nearly brought tears to my eyes. I squeezed Emily's hand tightly and said, "You don't have to endure it anymore. I'm here with you." Emily smiled, relieved by my words. Seeing that smile, I made a vow to myself once again. I will protect this person no matter what. With our resolve to leave the company firm, we went around explaining the situation to our colleagues who had been there since before Aaron's transfer. Most of them, after hearing our story, offered to work with us, leading to today's mass resignation. Leaving a dumbfounded Aaron behind, we headed to the president's office. We intended to inform President Johnson, Aaron's father, and the company president about Aaron's past behavior, his stalking of Emily, and any other offenses, and to demand an investigation and proper punishment. Though surprised by our sudden visit, President Johnson listened intently to our account. After hearing our story, he bowed deeply and apologized. His face had turned pale, and he looked visibly more haggard within a short period. It must have been a shocking report for him as the company president. He promised to conduct a thorough investigation and to impose appropriate penalties on Aaron, as well as on himself. Later, we established our new company and threw ourselves into our work. The busy days flew by as we grew the company, making decisions collectively and sharing ideas actively. Feeling a different kind of fulfillment than before, I realized I really do love this job. One day, we received a phone call at the office. The caller was President Johnson. He informed us that the investigation into Aaron had been completed, and Aaron had admitted to his crimes. President Johnson had personally contacted the police. Aaron was, of course, dismissed and would be monitored henceforth. His father decided not to sever ties but to focus on Aaron's rehabilitation. The company had suffered from the loss of us employees, leading to deteriorated relationships with clients and declining performance. Even though President Johnson personally requested, "Please come back," none of us nodded in agreement. Instead, we promised to assist by forming a business partnership, helping the company rebuild trust. I cannot go back, but I believe we took the best possible action to repay the company for the many years we worked there. This arrangement benefited both companies, and slowly but surely, President Johnson's company began mending its client relationships while we secured new contracts, further boosting our growth. Everyone who once felt burdened by work now worked with smiles on their faces. I was one of them, and John. About the new contract. Seeing her efficiently handling work, I couldn't help but smile. We're at work now. Stop grinning. Emily, now my partner, scolded me sharply. Sorry, but... In our private office, I gently hugged Emily. Tenderly, as if handling something fragile. I just thought how happy I am to see you like this. Oh, come on. Emily laughed softly, exasperated by my words. Are you happy too, Emily? Of course. Her immediate answer made me hold her a little tighter. Emily relaxed from work mode, smiling peacefully in my arms. Her smile was so gentle and calm. It was the most special smile, one she showed only to me. I'm an ordinary guy with no wealth, strength, or special talents. I used to be too scared to stand up to those in power, but that day, I mustered the courage to protect what mattered most to me. Thanks to that, I haven't lost what is most important. I want to continue protecting her, the one who gives me so much courage and strength. For Emily's smile, I believe I can do anything.